What kind of properties do we actually want at Rightroom? One of the most common questions we get is, what kind of properties do you actually take on? So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what we look for at Rightroom and how you can check if your property qualifies for guaranteed rent. We even created a free one-page checklist called the Ultimate Deal Review Checklist, and you can download it using the link in the description. So the first thing that we look at is predominantly location. So we operate across Greater London, but we're not looking everywhere. What we really care about is this. So we look at strong transport links, high rental demand, and areas with working professionals, students, or key workers. So what does that actually mean? If you're near a train station, an Elizabeth line stop, or close to major bus routes, that's a huge tick for us. Some areas that are performing particularly well right now include sort of Stratford, Lewisham, Croydon, Wembley, Ilford, but we are expanding fast. So even if your area isn't listed, drop us a message or use the checklist to find out if your property will work for us. Number two, the next thing that we're going to be looking out for is the property type. Now, the property type is important, and that just takes into account the types of properties that we traditionally like to take and that tend to perform well for what we're after. Those type of properties are typically 5-bedroom plus, and they are HMOs, either licensed or license ready. And we also look at flats. So we look at larger flats where there is scope for conversion, where there's scope for an additional bedroom. And that in some cases is works that we are happy to take on. So this could include a separate reception room. And ideally, we do like to have 2 bathrooms. So within sort of 4 sharers plus, we want to be working with a property that has 2 bathrooms. As well as that, a good sized kitchen and communal area. So if your property ticks those boxes, there's a strong chance we can take it on. The next thing, and I feel like this is probably the most important, is the landlord profile. So the type of landlords that we want to work with is the type of landlord who's looking for a long-term relationship. And not just from an income perspective, but from actually wanting to be with a partner like ourselves who they can leave their asset to, not worry, have semi-annual, annual checks, however often that may be. And then as a result, they are hands off. We want to deal with landlords who've had bad experiences with other agents. And that for me is a really sort of nice type of relationship to get into, because we are able to then really clean up where the other agent didn't perform so well. We can manage the expectation, build that relationship, and resuscitate the property. Also, the type of landlord must be open to a company let, and they want a hands-off solution in short. So you want to rent the property and you want to collect it every single month without phone calls, without the stress, and without wondering who's going to take care of all minor maintenance. Our usual agreement is for 3 to 5 years, fixed rent, no hassle, and no voids. So if that sounds like you, we're very likely a fit. So hopefully this has given you a bit of an insight into what we can do over here at Rightroom in terms of looking after your property. And we'd love to hear from you. So if you have a property, and even if your property doesn't fit within the areas that we've mentioned, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Give us a shout. If your property's empty right now, if it's underperforming, if you feel like you're not getting on with your agent, reach out to us. Look, I mean, property is definitely a people's game, and it's always good to collaborate, even if it's just for an informal chat to see what we can do for you. Then there's no harm in reaching out. Often cases, there's many cases where we are unable to take on a property, but that's not going to stop us from giving impartial advice, something that may benefit you. So once again, if you are in the market, if you have a property, feel free to reach out, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you very much.